Welcome to our seminar, CreditAbility, Build a Strong Credit History, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. My name is Irlanda Cuevas. I'm the Business Development Representative, and it is my pleasure to guide you through the next slides. This seminar is geared towards individuals and families who want to build a solid credit history. This seminar can help you get started on the road to building a strong credit history, but the rest is up to you. We'll explain several things you can do and tools you can use to build that solid foundation. So let's take a look at the objectives. This is what we'll learn. Who needs to build good credit, significance of credit report and score, how to establish your credit, how to rebuild credit history, tips to use credit wisely, costly pitfalls, and your rights and responsibilities. The rewards are worth it. Individuals with good credit benefit in many ways, and we'll explain those benefits throughout this seminar. So let's take a look of why it's important to have good credit. It improves your image in the eyes of the lender. It improves your ability to get credit, such as loans, apartments, insurance, credit cards, and even a job. And it improves your chances of getting lower interest rates on loans. The lesson here is to get credit early in your financial life. Use it responsibly, pay all your bills on time, build that solid foundation over time, and keep it. That way, you'll be able to get credit at competitive rates when you need it the most. So who needs to build good credit? High school grads and college students, young adults, recent immigrants, people who need to get back on track, women, particularly if all credit is in her husband's name, and those who prefer to pay with cash. Now let's look at this slide. What's in a credit report? You'll find identifying information such as your first and last name, social security number, date of birth, and address. You'll find employment history, creditors and payment history. If you've had any bankruptcies, judgments, liens, or lawsuits, and past inquiries that you've initiated on loans and credit applications, but not credit card solicitations. So here's an example of what to do if your credit report has errors. Your credit report contains instructions to dispute information on your file that you believe is inaccurate. Some credit reports contain dispute forms, simplifying the dispute process. First, you'll write a letter to the credit bureau explaining why you think the information is inaccurate. Then the credit bureau has 30 days to investigate, notify you of the results, and delete inaccurate information. However, if you disagree with the investigation results, you can write a dispute statement to appear on your credit file. Now here, let's take a look at what is a credit score. The bottom line here is the higher the score, the better. The number, this represents your credit worthiness. So this can always change over time depending on your payment history. So if you're not paying on time, it will affect your credit worthiness, and that's what lenders look at. For more information about credit scores, you can go to myfico.com. Again, that's myfico.com. And FICO isn't the only credit score. There's a different credit system that was developed by 3 major credit bureaus in March of 2006. The new Vantage score is intended to make credit score easier to understand. It uses a different numbering system than FICO, and it's based on the standard grades A to F. A grade A is a 901 to a 990, a B is an 801 to a 900, C is a 701 to an 800, D is a 601 to a 700, and E is a 501 to a 600. Make sure you know which score you're using, because a score of 760 from FICO means you're an excellent credit risk, but the same score from Vantage score gives you a grade of a C. Now this is a component, and it's a great graph on how to see what the component of a FICO score is. Know what affects your credit score, so you can take steps to improve it. For example, if you paid some bills late, know that they can negatively affect your score. So that makes up 35%. That's your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? The next one is 30%, and that's the amounts owed to creditors. Do you owe a lot of money to a lot of people? The next one is worth 15%, and that's the length of credit history. How established is your credit history? The next one is your new credit, and that makes up 10%. Are you increasing your debt obligations? And lastly, it's the type of credit that it's currently in use. That also makes up 10%. And do you have a healthy mix? Remember that having no credit history at all could be just as bad as having poor bill paying history. Establish your credit in your name and pay all your bills on time. Here are some tips to build a strong credit score. Pay your bills on time. There's a common misconception about credit scores that you should close all accounts, but doing so, however, could lower your credit score. How, you may ask? It raises your utilization rate. You want to keep your credit utilization ratio below 25% of your available credit. A good rule of thumb is to close all accounts only if you don't plan to apply for a loan within the next few months, and then close department store accounts and new cards first. Believe it or not, those unpaid library fines can work against you if they're reported to the credit report agency. The amount of the unpaid balance doesn't matter. What matters is that you haven't paid a bill, and that's what potential lenders view negatively. Also, make sure not to open a flurry of new accounts, and don't co-sign for a person with bad credit. If you don't have credit, start small. To people just starting out, it seems like a vicious cycle. You can't get credit because you've never had credit, but you've never had credit because you can't get it. So you can open an account at our credit union. You can put your utilities and rent in your name. You can apply for a small loan or a line of credit from our credit union, or you can also apply for department store or gas cards. Start small with these suggestions on the slide. Whatever accounts you open, even basic checking and savings account, they need to be managed responsibly. If you're currently sharing housing and utilities, make sure at least some of those bills are in your name. Here are some more ways to establish a credit history. You can use a cosigner on your first few credit accounts, and just make sure that if you want credit without a cosigner, you must be at least 18 years old and have a steady source of income. You can offer a large down payment to get a loan. You can also get secured credit cards from credit unions, and secured credit cards require you to deposit money in the account to secure the credit or loan limit. But they usually have fees that are higher interest rates because of the higher risk. If you default on your payments, the lender uses a secured line as a fallback. Those fees and rates should come down as you demonstrate that you're charging and paying back responsibly, but you may have to reapply. Whenever you're applying for credit, ask whether the issue reports to a credit bureau. If not, having that unreported credit card or loan won't help you establish your credit. Once you get any form of credit, make sure you pay it off responsibly and on time. Don't bounce checks because that sends a signal to potential lenders that you don't know how to manage your money and that you probably aren't a good credit risk. Remember, before you apply for credit, have the basics in place: a budget, a tracking system, and an emergency fund backup. And how can you rebuild a good credit history? You can order credit reports and correct your errors, pay all bills on time, pay down your debt, consider consolidation loans, establish emergency fund, apply for a small line of credit, apply for a secured credit card, get automated bill pay and direct deposit, and also get help from your credit union or a local credit counseling service office. So the Consumer Credit Counseling Service offices across the county are affiliated with the National Foundation of Credit Counseling, the NFCC, and they offer budget counseling, educational programs, debt management assistance, and housing counseling. Often, the CCCS staff work with creditors on your behalf. To find the nearest office, call 1-800-388-2227 or visit www.nfcc.org. Again, that's nfcc.org. Also, if you're considering a consolidation loan, a line of credit, or secured credit card, make sure to shop around. Ask our credit union about current rates because credit unions historically have better rates than other financial institutions. Here are some tips for using your credit wisely. Make sure to charge small amounts and pay on time. Pay in full or more than the minimum. avoid minimum payment trap, don't max out your cards, avoid cash advances, avoid late over the limit fees, and don't open a flurry of new accounts. Having a piece of plastic in your wallet requires responsibility on your part. Respect your rights to use that card, or you'll ruin your credit history and wind up paying more than the loan and the credit. Charge only as much as you can afford to pay off in full each month and pay those bills on time. Your bill paying record, good or bad, probably will be sent at least to one of the 3 major credit reporting agencies and then viewed by potential lenders, landlords, insurance companies, and even potential employers. Those individuals will know whether you pay in full or carry a balance, whether you've maxed out your cards, whether you paid late or on time, and whether you've opened a flurry of new accounts recently, which could be interpreted as not being able to get approved. So here are some warning signs that you have too much debt. You only make the minimum payments, you're at or near your credit limit on your cards, you don't know how much you owe, you use cash advances to pay other bills, you're denied credit or denied credit purchase, you get calls from collection agencies, you lie to your spouse and family about spending, and more of your total income is going towards debts. If you're experiencing 2 or more of these warning signs, take steps now to get help and get back on track. Beware of pitfalls. Steer clear of any advertisement that claims to erase your bad credit history. You can't erase history. They may be able to temporarily hide some negative information on your report, but be prepared for it to show up again. Negative but accurate information can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. Also, steer clear of rent-to-own stores. These agreements typically result in payments that are totally 2 to 3 times more than the item is worth. And there's no guarantee that the goods are new. They may have been repossessed. Steer clear of payday loans. They're expensive, short-term loans against your next paycheck, with annualized interest rates that could be more than 700%. Many people wind up renewing these loans with additional fees each time, resulting in a cycle of debt that's difficult to break. Steer clear of pawn shops. You won't be offered anywhere close to the value of the object. And consolidating all your debts into one high-interest loan may streamline your payments, but the higher interest rate in exchange for that one payment means you're paying more than you were before. Check with our credit union first and ask about our rates. In any consolidation, only include debt with interest rates that are higher than the interest rate you get for the consolidation. Don't include low interest debt, keep those separate. Here are some more pitfalls. There's debt settlement, and basically what debt settlement is that it's a process to settle outstanding debt with creditors. Either you or a third party negotiates with creditors for a reduced amount, usually 40 to 60%, that you agree to pay. Options include reducing the principal debt amount, eliminating late fees, lowering the APR, and providing a flexible repayment period. Debt settlement will remain on your credit record for 7 to 10 years and can lower your credit score. You will owe income tax on the amount discounted. To get off most pre-screened credit and insurance offers, you can call 1-888-5-OPT-OUT or visit optoutprescreen.com. That's optoutprescreen.com. Also keep a lookout for identity theft, phishing, vishing, smishing, and farming. Identity theft happens when someone steals your social security number and one other piece of identifying information and establishes a fraudulent account in your name. Phishing is done by con artists who attempt to lure victims via fake email messages to a fraudulent website through spam, attempting to trick victims into divulging personal information. Vishing is a pre-recorded message telling you to verify your account information by calling a number rather than clicking on a link, and you're asked by another message to punch in your 16-digit account number. Smishing comes from SMS, short message service, plus phishing. In this ploy, scammers solicit your personal information by sending you a text message instead of calling. And finally, there's farming. It's a more sophisticated scam that's harder to detect. It redirects your browser to an illegitimate website where your login, password, and personal information is captured. Now, what debt collectors cannot do? If you fall behind on your debt payments or an error is made on your accounts, a debt collector may contact you. You can stop a debt collector from contacting you by writing a letter to the collection agencies telling it to stop. Once the agency receives your letter, it may not contact you again except to say that there won't be any further contact or to notify you that the debt collector or creditor intends to take some specific action. Sending the letter, though, doesn't mean the debt goes away. The debt collector or original creditor could still sue you. So this is what they cannot do. They can't use threats or violence. They can't use obscene, profane language, use false name statement information, use postcard to contact you, repeatedly use phone to annoy you, send look-alike government or official documents, deposit post-dated check prematurely, threaten to take your property unless it's legal, and publish a list of consumers who won't pay down their debt. Now let's look at the checklist. Are you ready? Use this checklist to determine whether you're on track to build a solid credit history over time. You have your basics in place, such as your budget, tracking system, and emergency fund. You pay your bills on time. You order your credit report and correct errors. You take steps to increase your credit score. You keep utilization ratios below 25%. You pay down your debt. You understand potential pitfalls, and you know where to go to get help. And how do you order your credit report? The Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction, also known as the FACT Act of 2003, was enacted to help you understand your rights and protect your information in your credit reports, and also to help you if you have any financial information that's been stolen. You now have the opportunity to request one free credit report per year from each of the three main credit reporting agencies: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Consider staggering your requests throughout the year. For example, order a free credit report from Experian in January, then order a free report from Equifax in May, and then order a free report from TransUnion in September. Next year, start over with the free report from Experian. Be sure you're requesting the free credit report if that's what you want. The best way to order your free credit reports is through annualcreditreport.com. Again, that's annualcreditreport.com. On this last slide, this is our resources for financial literacy. Hughes Federal Credit Union website will take you to our financial platform. This is easy and free to use, and it's for anyone who's interested in financial services. So this is financial education. You'll go into our financial guide. Once you get there, you can scroll down and it'll take you to our tools. The first one is our financial calculator, which is a great way for you to determine how much you can afford to borrow for, let's say, a mortgage or a car loan. Money Coach at Hughes is a free online personal finance training that helps adults build assurance for their financial future. Money Coach for Students is more geared towards the young ones. It teaches them on entrepreneurship, economic concepts, and how to save money for college. HFCU Financial Services are our financial advisors that can help with anything from retirement to paying for college. And then we have our webinar series, Basic Budgeting, that can help you create your 5-step spending plan. And then the next one is our Power Over Debt that can help you break the debt cycle. With that, this is a free service for all of our members and communities. It has been a pleasure for me to present to you today. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can email us at marketing@hughesfcu.org. Again, that's marketing@hughesfcu.org.